Hi, I'm Kenzie. At 63, I'd thought I'd seen it all, especially when it came to family drama. My son Jackson married Vanessa 5 years ago, and while we'd never been close, I tried my best for my son's sake. Their daughter, Emma, became the light of my life the moment she was born 3 years ago. Grandma Kenzie! Grandma Kenzie, look what Santa brought me! Emma would squeal every Christmas morning, her little hands clutching whatever treasure she'd found under the tree. This past Christmas was supposed to be special. Jackson had to work. Emergency surgery, he's a trauma surgeon, leaving Emma with Vanessa at their home. I was invited for Christmas dinner. You're early, Vanessa said when I arrived, not bothering to hide her annoyance. She stood in the doorway in a plush robe, blocking my entrance. Only by 20 minutes. I brought extra gifts for Emma. Where is my sweet girl? I asked, peering around her. Taking a nap, she was overexcited this morning. Something felt off. The house was too quiet for a Christmas morning with a 3-year-old. Mind if I peek in on her? I asked, already moving toward Emma's room. Actually, I do mind. She's finally settled down. Why don't you wait in the living room? I'll get you some coffee. I reluctantly followed her to the living room, where a fire roared in the fireplace. Vanessa's phone chimed with a text. Excuse me, she mumbled, checking it before smirking. I need to make a quick call. Make yourself comfortable. As she left the room, I noticed Emma's new mittens on the coffee table, the ones I'd sent last week. Why would they be down here if she was napping? I heard barking outside. Looking through the window, my heart stopped. Emma was in the backyard, alone, building a snowman. No coat, just a Christmas dress and those little mittens. Her lips looked blue from where I stood. I rushed outside. Emma, sweetheart! Grandma! She cried, running toward me. Her little body was shaking violently. I'm making Frosty. Mommy said I had to stay out here until he was done. I wrapped her in my coat, fury building inside me. How long have you been out here, baby? Since after presents. Mommy said she needed quiet time. That was hours ago. The temperature was barely 20 degrees. I carried her inside where Vanessa was still on her phone in the kitchen, laughing. What is wrong with you? I demanded, my voice shaking with rage. Vanessa spun around, eyes widening at the sight of Emma in my arms. She wanted to build a snowman, she said dismissively, hanging up. Without a coat? For hours? She's freezing. Don't be dramatic. She was fine. Kids need fresh air. I took Emma to the bathroom, running a lukewarm bath while calling my neighbor Martha, who's been a pediatric nurse for 30 years. Martha, I need your help, I said, my voice breaking. It's Emma. Vanessa left her outside in the cold for hours. I'm on my way, Martha replied without hesitation. Is she conscious? Any signs of frostbite? She's awake but shivering badly. Her fingers and toes are red. Keep her warm but not hot. I'll be there in 10 minutes. When I hung up, Vanessa was in the doorway. Who was that? You're overreacting, Kenzie. This is my house, my child. That was someone who actually cares about Emma's well-being, I snapped. You sat by the fireplace while she froze outside on Christmas Day. Martha arrived with her medical bag, examining Emma carefully while Vanessa paced and complained. Her body temperature is too low, Martha said gravely. She needs proper medical attention. I'm documenting these symptoms. For what? Vanessa asked sharply. Martha looked her directly in the eyes. For the record, this is child neglect, Vanessa. Martha insisted we take Emma to the hospital, where Dr. Reynolds confirmed mild hypothermia. How did this happen? He asked, looking between us. My daughter-in-law left her outside without proper clothing for hours while she sat inside by the fire, I explained, watching Vanessa's face flush with anger. That's not what happened, Vanessa hissed. Emma wanted to play outside. I checked on her regularly. Emma told me you made her stay out until her snowman was finished, I countered. She's 3. Kids exaggerate. Dr. Reynolds frowned. I'm required to report suspected neglect. Someone from Child Protective Services will need to speak with all of you. I called Jackson immediately. Dad, what's happening? He asked, his voice tight with worry after I explained. Your wife left Emma outside in freezing temperatures for hours, Jackson. She has hypothermia. That can't be right. Vanessa wouldn't. I found Emma myself. Ask Martha. Ask Dr. Reynolds. They're both concerned enough that CPS is being called. I'm leaving now. Don't let Vanessa take Emma anywhere. After Jackson arrived, we sat in the hospital cafeteria while Emma slept upstairs. I don't understand, he said, running his hands through his hair. Why would she do this? She's been different lately, I said carefully. Distant with Emma? Have you noticed? She's been stressed about her new job, he admitted. But this is something else. Our conversation was interrupted by Vanessa's friend, Tiffany, who rushed in looking flustered. Jackson! There you are! Vanessa's hysterical. She says your mother is trying to take Emma away. My daughter is in the hospital with hypothermia because Vanessa left her outside in 20-degree weather, Jackson replied coldly. Oh, please, Tiffany scoffed. Vanessa said Emma was only outside for 20 minutes. That's a lie, I interjected. Emma told me herself she'd been out there since after opening presents. Kids exaggerate, Tiffany said, echoing Vanessa. The medical evidence doesn't, Martha added, joining us. Her core temperature and the condition of her extremities indicate prolonged exposure. So you're all ganging up on Vanessa now? Tiffany demanded. We're protecting Emma, I corrected her. From her own mother? That's ridiculous. Jackson stood up. Tiffany, I appreciate your loyalty to Vanessa, but I need to see my daughter. As Tiffany stormed off, Lisa Chen from CPS arrived. I'd like to speak with each of you individually, she said after introducing herself, starting with Emma when she wakes up. After interviewing Emma, Miss Chen spoke with each of us. When we reconvened, her expression was serious. Emma's account is consistent and concerning, she said. She states she was told to stay outside until her snowman was complete, despite repeatedly asking to come in because she was cold. She's 3, Vanessa repeated desperately. She doesn't understand time. The neighbor who called for help noted the snow on her clothes was packed and icy, indicating she'd been outside for a significant period, Miss Chen continued. And her body temperature supports this assessment. What happens now? Jackson asked. I'm recommending a temporary supervision order. Emma shouldn't be left alone with Mrs. Howard until we complete our investigation. Vanessa's face crumpled. This is insane! Jackson, tell them! Jackson looked at her, his expression hardening. No, Vanessa. This time you've gone too far. 2 days later, after Emma was released from the hospital, we all gathered at Jackson and Vanessa's house. Emma was staying with me temporarily by court order, which had Vanessa seething. This is ridiculous, she snapped as soon as I walked in. You've turned everyone against me. You did that yourself when you neglected your daughter, I replied calmly. Jackson entered with Lisa Chen and Detective Morris, who had been assigned to the case after the hospital report. Mrs. Howard, Detective Morris began, we've spoken with several witnesses, including your neighbors. What neighbors? Vanessa demanded. The Wilsons across the street, he replied. They observed Emma outside for approximately 3 hours while you remained indoors. They're lying. They've always hated me. They provided time-stamped photos they took of their own children playing, where Emma is visible in the background. These photos span from 10:17 a.m. to 1:05 p.m. Vanessa's face paled. There's also this, Lisa Chen added, placing a phone on the table. Your text messages with Tiffany Foster. I glimpsed the screen and felt sick. Messages from Vanessa complaining about Emma ruining her Christmas, saying she needed peace and quiet for once. You went through my phone? Vanessa gasped. It was submitted as evidence by Miss Foster herself, Detective Morris explained. Apparently, she had second thoughts after speaking with Emma's father. Tiffany gave you my private messages? That's illegal. Not when they contain evidence of child endangerment, and she's a voluntary witness, he corrected. Vanessa turned to Jackson, tears streaming down her face. Jackson, please, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I was just overwhelmed. You know how hard Christmas is for me without my family nearby? Don't, Jackson said quietly. Don't make excuses. Emma could have died, Vanessa. It wasn't that cold, she protested. 22 degrees, Martha interjected from the doorway. With a wind chill of 17, for a 3-year-old with minimal protection, potentially fatal after extended exposure? I didn't mean for her to be out that long. I fell asleep by the fire. I'm sorry. The texts to Tiffany were sent throughout that time period, Lisa pointed out. You weren't asleep. This is all a misunderstanding, Vanessa insisted, turning to me. Kenzie, please. I know we've had our differences, but I love Emma. I would never hurt her intentionally. Leaving a child to freeze is intentional, I replied. Your actions were deliberate, and your lies afterward make it worse. What do you want from me? She cried. I said I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't erase hypothermia, Jackson said. Or the nightmares Emma's been having. Vanessa's expression suddenly changed, her face hardening. This is your fault, she hissed at me. You've always tried to turn Jackson against me. You've never thought I was good enough. She lunged toward me, but Detective Morris stepped between us. Mrs. Howard, control yourself, he warned. Or what? She sneered. You'll arrest me for yelling at my meddling mother-in-law? She's trying to steal my family. I'm trying to protect my granddaughter, I corrected her. You want to know the truth? Vanessa shouted. Emma was driving me crazy with her constant chattering about Santa and presents. I needed a break. Any mother would understand that. The room fell silent. Even Vanessa seemed shocked by her own admission. No, Jackson said quietly. No mother would understand endangering their child because they were annoyed by Christmas excitement. Vanessa's face contorted with rage. She grabbed a vase from the table and hurled it against the wall, missing my head by inches. This is all your fault, she screamed as Detective Morris restrained her. I'll make you pay for this, Kenzie. You'll never see Emma again. 6 months later, I sat in the family court waiting room with Jackson and Emma. The past half year had been a whirlwind of hearings, evaluations, and supervised visits. Are you nervous? Martha asked, sitting beside me. A little, I admitted. Vanessa's lawyer is aggressive. The evidence is overwhelming, Jackson reassured me. The texts, the witness statements, the medical reports, not to mention her outburst when she threw that vase at you. Speaking of which, Detective Morris said, joining us, the assault charges are proceeding separately. Her plea deal fell through. Good, Martha said firmly. Actions have consequences. Our conversation was interrupted by Vanessa's arrival with her attorney and parents, who had flown in from California for the proceedings. Jackson, Vanessa called out, her voice softer than I'd heard in months. Can we talk privately? Jackson hesitated but agreed, stepping aside with her while I distracted Emma. They returned 5 minutes later, Jackson's expression unreadable. What did she say? I asked when Emma went with Martha to get a drink. She wants to reconcile, he said flatly. Says she's changed, completed anger management and parenting classes. And I told her it's too late. The divorce will be finalized next month. The bailiff called us into the courtroom. After 2 hours of testimony, including Emma's child psychologist describing her ongoing trauma from the incident, the judge made her ruling. In the matter of custody regarding Emma Howard, she began, this court finds clear and convincing evidence of neglect and endangerment by the mother, Vanessa Howard. Primary physical custody is awarded to the father, Jackson Howard, with Mrs. Howard granted supervised visitation twice monthly, contingent upon completion of court-mandated therapy and parenting classes. Vanessa's sob echoed through the courtroom. Outside after the proceedings, Vanessa approached me while Jackson was speaking with our lawyer. Are you happy now? She asked bitterly. You've destroyed my family. You did that yourself, Vanessa, I replied evenly. I've changed, she insisted. I'm getting help. I made one mistake. A mistake that could have killed your daughter, I interrupted. Some things can't be undone with an apology. What can I do to make this right? I'll do anything. Be better for Emma. That's all that matters now. Will you ever forgive me? She asked, her voice small. I looked at her directly. No. But this isn't about me or my forgiveness. It's about Emma's safety and well-being. That's all I ever cared about. Jackson returned with Emma, who hid behind his leg at the sight of Vanessa. We should go, he said quietly. That evening, we celebrated with a small dinner at my house. Jackson, Emma, Martha, and Lisa Chen, who had become a friend through the ordeal. To new beginnings, Martha toasted. And to justice, Lisa added. Later, after Emma was asleep, Jackson and I sat on the porch swing. Do you think I did the right thing? He asked, refusing to reconcile. Only you can answer that, I replied. But Emma's safety has to come first. It will, he promised. Always. Then you're already doing the right thing. As we watched the summer stars appear, I wondered how many other children suffered in silence, without someone to stand up for them. How many grandmothers, neighbors, or friends saw something wrong but stayed quiet to keep the peace. Mom, Jackson said, interrupting my thoughts. Thank you for not backing down, for fighting for Emma when I couldn't see what was happening. That's what family does, I told him. The real kind, anyway. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have confronted Vanessa immediately or gathered evidence first? Sometimes protecting those we love means making difficult choices and living with the consequences. But I'll never regret taking action when my granddaughter needed me most.